Good evening, everyone. This is the November 6th, 2024 meeting of the Auburn Conservation Commission. This meeting, open meeting of the commission, is being operated as a hybrid format under Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2022. The public can join the meeting remotely by dialing 408-650-3123. That's 408-650-3123, and then using access code 942-845-549. Or the public can join via computer at global.gotomeeting.com/join/942-845-549. So materials for tonight's meeting have been provided to the commissioners. They're available on the town's website, and the public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. My name is Michael Garland. I'm chairman of the Conservation Commission. And before we start, let me confirm that members and other persons anticipating on the agenda are present and can hear me. So members, when I call your name, please answer in the affirmative. Tom Fallon?
Here.
Michelle Coloros?
Here.
Mark Sclamo?
Here.
Megan Langley?
Here.
Tim Pratt?
Here.
Okay. Please note that the meeting is being recorded by Auburn Cable Television. This is a new note. I would like to remind the audience, applicants, town administration, and each of the Conservation Commission members to please refrain from asking questions in regards to all matters discussed this evening without first being granted my consent. So without further ado, the first matter on our agenda this evening is Joe Goodman, notice of intent for after-the-fact work at 9 Maria Avenue. Is there a motion open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Vote.
Aye.
Mr. Goodman.
Thanks.
So,
Good evening, Kate
Good-
O'Donnell from Equitech.
good evening. So, as you will recall, you attended our meeting on October 23rd, in which you made an appeal for the commission to reduce fines that have been imposed with regard to the filing of a notice of intent. We had a discussion among the board members, and we took a vote, and we decided or agreed to reduce the fine from $8,500 to $2,500, which I think, given the circumstances, or we felt given the circumstances, was a reasonable compromise. So I think, as I indicated to you, pursuant to the general bylaws of the town, before we could act on the notice of intent application, that fine would have to be paid by Mr. Goodman. So I suppose the question would be, Mr. Goodman, if you choose to pay it, how much time would you need to do so?
I mean, I think that's slightly steep,
Mhm.
personally. I don't know if there's any room in that. As soon as it was brought to my attention that I needed to apply with you, I immediately hired and put the steps in motion to get that done, and I thought that everything was being addressed in the manner within which that it should be addressed as. I do understand your position inside of it. I'm not trying to lessen that. I just, you know, I'm just trying to see if, you know, we could be a little better than that, because I don't want to argue. I just want to move on and put this behind us. But
So, sir, what would you propose as a reduction or as a compromise?
I mean, I was hoping it was going to be under $1,000, but I don't know. Can we split it at $1,250?
Well, sir, I'll have to speak to members of the commission. So if you want us to continue this matter, our next meeting is going to be on December 11th. So-
This isn't something that we can just figure out and make happen.
I mean, would have to take a vote on it, sir. So, and I think probably it would lend itself to further discussion among board members.
Is there a number that we, other than lesser than the 2,500, that we could agree upon?
Well, I'll open it up, sure, I'll open up to the commission. So, your thoughts, Michelle?
I can appreciate the fact that you may have taken the steps at that point to do something, but why would you, having been before this board before, do any work on that property, knowing that there was a possible wetland there, without coming to us and getting any kind of approval before doing the work.
Okay, so I had hired Scott Morrison to come out and flag the channel that was there, which I had submitted that paperwork to Jesse previously. And when he was there, we talked about where the wetlands were, and my understanding that I was more than 100 feet away, because the last thing I wanted to do was to be here. So I completely did not believe, and wetlands, from my understanding of them, migrate, they move. As things fill up in other areas, or a beaver dam, or whatever, things move around, supposedly. I'm not a scientist, I don't know, but that is my understanding. But I did, in 2022, have Scott Morrison go out there. He did not give them, he did not write down our conversation and anything in regards to the delineating the wetlands, because I paid for a delineation of the drainage ditch that's there from the street runoff. And that was more like, while we were there, he looked at it, and so from where that was, I truly believed that I was 100 feet away and I had nothing to talk to you about. So that's why I wouldn't have talked to you.
The problem, of course, is that the wetland that we're concerned about is at the toe of the slope. And so it's a totally different area than what Mr. Morrison had investigated. And therein sort of lies the problem. So just for clarification, I think you understand that, right?
What do you mean?
I'm saying at the bottom of the slope, there's a wetland system there that was not addressed by Mr. Morrison in his report. I know you sent the letter in talking about the channel, but it didn't address at least to our satisfaction, I think, the wetland system at the bottom of the slope. But I take your point.
But so he didn't address it because it wasn't in the scope of the work from where we were planning on doing the work.
Except that it was jurisdictional though. Because
I'm sorry?
it's jurisdictional for the commission, because that wetland was adjacent to your property. It was within 100 feet of the property line, and therefore, to our mind, it triggered our jurisdiction, which is why we then issued you the letter, and then we required the notice of intent to be filed. So, I mean, we can have that discussion, sir. I mean, you went ahead and you filed the notice of intent.
Yes, sir.
So really, we're only here, I think, to address your request to mitigate the fine further. So,
if you go on, even today, if you go on Mass Mapper, which is the state website that shows the wetlands configuration, supposedly with the GIS of where things are at, it doesn't show it on my property. It shows it off of my property, which is part of what he gave me, along with my conversation with him, along with looking at the channel that was there. And so, that's what led me to believe that I would not have to be here and deal with this. Otherwise, I would have made sure I would have been outside of the buffer or talked to you ahead of time.
okay.
But, that's all under the bridge, per se. You were opening up. I don't know if we can continue. I don't know if that answers your question.
I want to get just other
Okay,
board members'
all right.
opinions. Tom, what's your opinion on this?
Well, when we went out to the site, like the tree stumps and all that stuff, I mean, the lot that Mr. Goodman put the foundation on was on the left side, but the lot on the right side where all the stumps are, were very close, they were within which kicked off the jurisdiction.
That's true.
So to me, it's, even though I know where he's coming from, that, yeah, he's building over here and this is over here, the fact that all that material was brought down that hill, and some of that material, like Mr. Goodman said, is still there, it needs to stay there, because to disturb it would probably make it worse. So like, that stuff's all gonna stay.
Understood.
But like, for what I see, it's, yeah, I mean, we should have been notified.
Okay.
Just because the stuff was moved down the hill in that area, that's all. I mean, if that stuff wasn't in that area, he's far enough away, from what I saw.
Okay. Mark, any opinions on this?
No, I don't.
Okay, that's all.
I just need to add, when you were moving all the dirt, was that within 100 feet or was it, again, what triggered the last one?
What
I'm just
triggers the
what triggered the last one? The last problem that we had?
Just,
I mean, I think that you were outside of 100 feet of the last time, weren't you? Of the buffer zone? When you moved the dirt or added dirt?
No. So I've never been in front of the board for that particular property.
That's
I
right.
know that,
Okay.
but what I'm saying is, you had to have known you needed to do something with that if you were throwing those stumps over towards, if you were looking at it.
So if you look at the mass mapper and you look at where
Where you put in the house, there was no problem.
yeah, but even where the silt fence
Mhm.
is about 100 or over 100 feet from my property lines.
Oh.
And if you look at the mass mapper part of it, it doesn't show it wet on my property. Or if you look at the Auburn zoning or GIS maps and you put in wetlands onto the overlay, it doesn't show it on my property. It shows it just to the south or whatever direction that is, just beyond it. And so, which obviously that's not correct with what is actually out there, but that is what, I mean, you can go in there right this second and, so based on that, based on my conversations, I did not believe that I was within the 100 feet and, that was the whole thing. But it is what it is, and we are where we are, and I'm not, I get it that you want me to pay a fine. I'm just, I'm already way upside down, and I'm just, I don't know. I'm trying to, and I don't want to drag this out. I want to just conclude it and move on.
So this will be my last word, but I'm actually looking at an email from Ms. O'Donnell to you with a CC to Paul McManus, and we know Paul. Paul's appeared before our commission where there's an acknowledgement that a notice of intent should have been filed. So I'll leave it at that. I think we want to think about this a little bit more, and so I'm not inclined to throw out another number at this time. I want to have further discussion, and we'll do it on the record. But we have other matters on the agenda for this evening. My suggestion is, and with regard to the other issues you have with the foundation, I don't know where you are. You're dealing with, is it the ZBA you're dealing with on that?
Well, no, so I'm gonna just wait till February when the auxiliary dwelling unit pops into play and just go that route.
Okay.
That's
All right.
basically where I'm.
So while I understand you want this resolved, it's not imminent in terms of doing work at the site.
No, it's not imminent in regards to doing work at the site, but it makes sense to have it resolved. Every time she shows up, it costs money. Everything costs money. That's all.
Sir, that's absolutely true. I get it. So, I'll do it this way. I don't know if anyone on the board wants to make a motion to consider Mr. Goodman's request to reduce the fine of $2,500. I'm not in a position to make the motion, but if any members of the board want to go ahead and make a motion to do that, the floor is open and they can do so. If there is no motion, my suggestion would be that we continue this to December and we'll maybe get some clarity and maybe be able to reach a final decision with respect to the fine and whether the commission wants to reduce it.
Okay.
Do you assent to that?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So,
Ms. O'Donnell does not have to be here.
okay, perfect. All right.
All right. We appreciate you coming in, and we do, I do appreciate the fact, having seen the emails, that you did respond to the letter. So I think we took that into consideration before, but we'll take into consideration your further request.
Okay.
All right. Thank
We
you, sir.
appreciate you guys' consideration of that. Obviously, as you said, we did try to make an effort to get a complete filing to you guys with the plan, the buffer zone, everything, and to do it as quickly as we can as soon as we got in touch with Mr. Goodman. So we do appreciate your consideration to reduce it as much as you have, and would appreciate any further
Understood.
consideration you guys have.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
So is there a motion to continue the public hearing for Mr. Goodman to December 11th at 7 PM?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? It's a vote. All right. The next item on our agenda is an application from Timothy Johnson, a notice of intent for property at 25 Mile Street to construct a residential subdivision. Is there a motion to open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? It's a vote. Gentlemen, can you identify yourselves, please?
Good evening, Garrett Horsfall with Kelly Engineering Group. I'm also joined by John Morayan, who is part of the development team representing the applicant tonight.
And I see the applicant is joining us remotely. Mr. Johnson, you can unmute now.
I am here.
Very good. Okay. So,
So I know that this project has been in front of the commission for several months.
no one
Prior,
should.
prior to our involvement, we were brought on during the summer months to fully, design stormwater site development plans, which have since been filed with the planning board. We've had one hearing with them earlier, I believe in October. We're still awaiting peer review from Graves on that aspect, but we are scheduled to appear in front of them on the 12th next week
Okay.
for a follow-up meeting with them. We have been in front of the ZBA. We did receive the special permit for the use associated with the proposal. And really tonight, we want to more give the commission an update to where we stand with the project. I understand that the applicant is in negotiations with DEP with payment of a fee, which is holding up the file number. So we understand that, we can't close the hearing tonight, et cetera. However, we really just wanted to update the commission and really go through, Kelly Engineering has since been involved prior to the submission, which predated, our involvement into the project, and just update the commission. So, I did prepare, a few slides. So Ecotech, went out again in June. I think they were actually here a couple of months ago, possibly with Scott Jordan, to review the flagging. We went through and updated, located any adjustments. So just for reference, the cyan blue line is the 100-foot buffer zone. The red is the 50, and then there's a inner purple of a 25, and then there's two wetland systems on the site. On the north side, you have a BBW system which drains south to north, and then on the southeasterly side, there's a isolated wetland system in that corner. The site is sort of generally a bowl in and of itself. Around the exterior edges are elevation 550 or so, and we're down at 512 roughly, where it's limited clearing you can see on the aerial, but there is a gravel road that goes back there to access the existing single family,
I don't mean to cut you off.
Yep.
But the red line designates what?
the 50-foot buffer zone.
All right, and then wasn't the purple line is a 25-foot no build?
Correct.
Okay.
And the inner purple is the resource area itself. So what we have done is we've provided a 24-foot wide driveway, which is sort of the minimum allowable for the town of Auburn's two-way for parking aisles. And in addition, the planning board had a request that we evaluate this driveway for the subdivision rules and regs, which we have further reviewed, and that is consistent with the 24-foot wide driveway as well. We ran the fire apparatus through the site, and we provided a 5-foot wide sidewalk on the inbound side of the wetland system. I'm not sure if it's possible to switch the view here, but and on that side there is a retaining wall proposed with 2 cross culverts so that we're not cutting off the drainage system from Nancy Drive to the south. And that retaining wall and associated driveway portions are within the 25. However, that is inbound of the existing limit of work. There's a gravel driveway that's there today. If you go to the field, there's an actual silt sock that the applicant has placed, and that silt sock is actually outside of the proposed retaining wall and limit of work associated with the project. So we've restricted, the impact and taken the least impactful route through the 25 and associated 50. And our proposal, goes directly towards the main upland section of the lot. All of the proposed structures are outside of the 50 and all paved surfaces, with the exception of the access driveway to access the site are outside the 50. Only within the 25 and 50 is, grading, etc.
And we,
So just to be clear here, you're telling me that no part of the project, including the access road, is within the 25-foot no-build zone?
It is.
It is,
So you're gonna need a waiver?
correct, but portions of it's already developed, that were within the 25, we're not encroaching it any further.
Okay, but you know you have to do an alternatives analysis, right? Under our bylaw.
Okay, well, we'll gladly submit one. Like I said, that's just why I'm coming to the commission tonight. really,
Sure.
So, just to follow up on the NOI filing that predated us, our involvement.
I understand.
Yep.
And just so I'm clear here, you're talking about, you said that you're negotiating with DEP for the filing fee. But you haven't got any comments from them regarding your notice of intent or the plan, is that right?
They have issued comments. The only comment, that is relative to the issuance of the state fee, which they have sent into the, PO lockbox in Boston since being requested to send it again.
Okay.
Can I just ask one question? You said that road's already there.
Yes.
Yeah, the road's already
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
So you're just expanding it a little bit?
We're actually pulling it in.
You're
So
pulling it
the-
in.
The retaining wall that's on the north side is actually inbound of the existing disturbance limit against that BVW.
Mhm.
So we're a couple feet inbound of the
So
gravel.
you're pulling it, so
Correct.
you are,
We're
you
pulling
are making it.
a little
Away
bit
from-
further away from where it's currently developed.
Right, okay.
That road though is, it's gravel now, so obviously it's gonna be paved at
It's
some
gonna
point.
be paved, and it's that little, bit right there.
Mhm.
And then the green, I'm
Yes.
assuming, is, you're gonna be reseeding that?
Yeah, that's our
right?
limit of work. So what we've tried to do is set these buildings to limit the amount of clearing on the backside. So we've actually used step foundation walls on the backside to work with the elevation and limit the clearing that's required. Even though it's outside jurisdiction, but it has been cleared previously, even that farther northeast corner. It's just indicative of the existing tree line, really, that's on the site today.
These look like catch basins, are there catch basins here that?
Yeah,
Sitting?
we've, obviously fully designed a compliant stormwater system with DEP, Town of Auburn. Town engineer came out, witnessed test pits, I believe back in end of August. We performed them, under their supervision. They came and witnessed them. We further then designed the, stormwater system with 4 subsurface recharge systems, all with the required infiltration rates required by the Town of Auburn as well as DEP. And each of these red dots represent water quality devices prior to the infiltration systems.
Do you anticipate that the Graves report's gonna be in by the next planning board meeting?
We're hopeful. That's what we've been told. We've been told that we expect it.
All right.
Um,
I mean, what's happened is that this project has kind of, it's languished, actually. It's been, I think it was initially proposed sometime last year. We actually went out there at one point because there was a structure on the property an old abandoned house that had to be torn down, so there was a filing for that. Is the area where you're proposing the housing, has that been cleared?
No, it's still a overgrown meadow brush.
Okay. I guess my question is, if I wanted to go out, or if members of the commission wanted to
It's
go out to look at the wetland, can we do that?
Yeah, it's walkable.
Okay. I think,
Probably pretty dry right now.
yeah, so no kidding. So, given the fact that there's no DEP file number and we couldn't close the public hearing tonight anyway, it makes sense for us to take a visit there. So I wanted to know, what's your availability this
I
weekend?
can do Saturday morning.
How's that work for you?
I'm actually here.
Okay, Mark?
I won't be.
Okay, so gentlemen, could we make arrangements to walk the site this Saturday at 9 o'clock? Okay,
Yeah, it is gated and locked, so
yeah, we'll
make
meet
arrangements to
you at the gate. And I assume then we have your permission to continue this matter to our next meeting on December 11th, is that right?
Yeah, that's really the only option we have, so.
Sort of a formality. Gotcha.
Just have one clarification on, you had mentioned an analysis or a waiver of some type, is there?
Well, let me do
Is that
this.
still necessary?
To Michelle's point, I know that the
Yeah.
road is there, but it's also, but you're changing it. You're changing it from a gravel road to a paved road, so you're increasing the pervious area. So, I think an alternatives analysis may be needed, but maybe not needed, so I'd like to think about that.
Yeah, because I think doesn't it also say if they're putting in this, the other part of that waiver, isn't it when they're putting in all of this other stuff?
I mean, the analysis is not that difficult. Basically, the analysis says there's no other way to gain access to the subdivision, so, I mean, it's probably a paragraph or two paragraphs. So I don't think it's a heavy lift for you.
Sure,
guys.
yeah.
We can provide a written response and
Yep.
clarify that further, we can, at the next meeting.
Okay. All right, so we'll plan to meet you there on Saturday at 9 a.m.
Can I ask a question before we?
Absolutely, Megan.
I see on the sheet number 5, it's like the layout plan part 2. There's a planning legend that says it has a quantity of trees being planted. Where exactly are those the trees that are like shown throughout the property, or is that on the wetland border? Or what is that?
So there's, I don't have the exact count in front of me. The planting legend, but I believe there's 24 street trees proposed throughout the development.
Okay, FYI, that needs to be corrected because it says the common name is American sweet gum, botanical name Lyriodendron tulipifera. Those are 2 different species. Sweet gum is liquid ambar styraciflua, and Lyriodendron tulipifera is American tulip tree.
Thank you. We'll look into that and correct any mislabeling.
Thanks.
Megan, any other comments?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from the board? Okay. All right, gentlemen, we'll see some of you on Saturday at 9, and
Tim's confirmed he will be there.
perfect, and we will continue the public hearing to December 11th. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Sure.
Should I say that out loud?
What's that?
We'll continue the meeting?
Well, we'll do a motion in a moment.
Okay, all right.
So just to make it official, is there a motion to continue the public hearing for Timothy Johnson to December 11th, 2024 at 7:05 PM?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Hi.
Opposed? It's a vote. All right. I'm advised that Mr. Marinus, Inside Engineering, the notice of intent for 47 Rockland Road is going to be continued again. Tim, do we have any idea? I mean, what we can continue it to December 11th, but my sense is that this is a decision that was made by the ZBA regarding their project, and so there may be litigation involved at some point.
Possibly.
Okay, all right. When we do this, until we hear from them otherwise, why don't we, is there a motion to continue the public hearing for 47 Rockland Road to December 11th?
It's 7:10 PM.
At 7:10 PM. All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Megan.
Sorry, I had it muted.
All right, opposed, it's a vote. All right, very good. If you look in your packet, we have received correspondence from National Grid concerning maintenance activities they are performing. And they are not required to file with us, they're just required to notify us, and that's what they've done. They have attached photographs showing the type of equipment they're using, the, I guess, what is being installed, and they've also included their best management practices for the installation of the work being conducted. So there's that. Now, I understand that we, as new business, we have someone who wants to speak to us, and that would be Ms. Spiro, and I believe she's joining us remotely. Ms. Spiro, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much. Can you hear me okay?
So, ma'am, I
Hello?
that
Hello?
We can't hear you, Mike.
can't hear me.
You can or you cannot? Hello?
Oh, ma'am, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
simply wanted. Hi, my name is Erin Spiro. I simply. Hello.
We can hear you. See,
You're not coming through very loud, Mike.
well, it's Mr. Garland to you, ma'am. I can hear you fine, so I don't know what we can do to increase the volume. I mean, I'm speaking at a normal volume, ma'am, so, and I don't understand why why you can't hear us.
I think we have.
Okay. Perhaps my volume was low. Can you hear me better now? I apologize.
We can hear you fine.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Erin Spiro from 35 Potter Farm Road, Auburn. I simply wanted to make a statement, if I may, through the chair, please.
Go ahead.
Okay, there should be an RDA coming up for next meeting on December 11th, 2024. This is a safety concern, and this RDA has been brought up to the town as well as to the conservation chair since September 25th. So just to alert the commission that we have this RDA coming towards you.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So I understand you will be filing that, and once it's received, we'll put it on the agenda, and it will be considered our meeting on December 11th.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Okay. Is there any other business? Okay, there being none,
Besides the dead fly that's dying on the table right there.
it's not within our jurisdiction.
Okay, all right, great. Has anybody noticed that?
I have.
It's weird, right?
Yeah, I don't know when it got there.
You're off topic.
I just needed to bring it up because it's been bothering
That would
me.
bug me. Like,
It's been
no pun
bugging me.
intended, that would bug me too.
Yeah, all right,
That's good.
okay, all right.
All right. If there is,
Should we talk about the fine, or are we just gonna let that go?
well, no,
Because-
I'm happy to discuss it with you, or with members of the commission. We had some
What
discussion
day was
before.
the day that he was told that he should probably file an NOI?
Well, I can tell you when the letter was sent. The letter was sent, hold on. The letter was sent to Mr. Goodman on June 13th, and that was a Thursday. The first communication to Mr. Averka from Ms. O'Donnell was Monday, June 17th. It says, and the email says, "Good afternoon, Jesse. I am emailing to let you know that Joe Goodman reached out to us regarding the 7 Maria Avenue site, and we will be looking into it and getting back to you soon." There was a response from Mr. Averka saying, "Thanks for the heads up." The next communication was on June 20th from Ms. O'Donnell to actually Mr. Goodman and Paul McManus, saying that, in fact, based on the work that was being done at the site, a notice of intent was that our determination of notice of intent was required was in fact correct. On June 27th, email from Ms. O'Donnell to Mr. Goodman and also to Mr. McManus, indicating that they had conducted a well delineation on Wednesday, June 26th. Then the next email, there's a month delay. So on Monday, almost a month delay, on Monday, July 22nd, there's an email from a Robert O'Neill to Mr. Goodman indicating that the well and flags, topo and erosion controls have been, I guess there was a plot plan done. So apparently it took Mr. Goodman from June 27th through July 22nd to obtain a plot plan.
That's the date here, that's this document here, 22nd, so.
And then, let's see. And then there's an email from Ms. O'Donnell to Mr. Verka, July 24th.
Does that have the delineation on
It
it?
does.
So- That has and that has the date on it?
Yep. July 22nd.
Didn't he tell us that it wasn't delineated?
I believe he did. And it was not,
Well, he said that Scott Morrison didn't delineate it. He just took under consideration the storm pit. But that's the drawing from Mr. O'Neill on the 22nd of July.
when was the
It's
day we
dated.
actually got it?
I don't know. We got that.
September 5th. So there's a delay.
I'm saying $2,500.
I think there has not been an adequate explanation why, if the wetland was delineated back on July 27th, why it took the applicant until September 5th to file with us. So I think your point is well taken. So, is it the consensus of the board that the fine of $2,500 should stand?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yes. Megan?
Yes.
Okay, so we had, at our meeting on October 23rd, we had reduced, by motion, had reduced the fine from $8,500 to $2,500. It is by unanimous opinion, the board will not reconsider the fine of $2,500 and that amount will stand.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, you did consider it, but it's staying at 25.
okay. Yeah. Okay, is there any other business? There being.
Could you please just repeat what you were saying at the beginning of the meeting about needing or being addressed through the board? I just wasn't following you
So
totally.
I don't know who added this to my script, Tim, but it said
Adam. Somebody.
it might. So there was another sentence added to the script, and it's not a big deal. It just says, "I would like to remind the audience, applicants, town administration, and each of the Conservation Commission members to please refrain from asking questions in regard to all matters discussed this evening without first being granted my consent," meaning I have to give permission.
Through the chair.
Through the chair. So I will absolve all of you. You had my permission to speak when you did. I think I asked you to speak when you did. I also asked the applicants and other persons to speak. So I appreciate the clarification, and that's what was added.
I have one other question.
Okay,
I can recall the formats up until COVID where you used to always ask if somebody's recording the meeting in public or online.
correct.
And I know we haven't done that, but I know that other boards, I believe, are doing that. So I don't know if that's something that we need to,
You know,
I mean,
it's probably a good idea. I guess my position has always been, since the meetings are recorded
the
anyway,
broadcast, right, it's
You know,
almost redundant.
it is redundant.
Mhm.
So what I will do is this. I think moving forward, I will make that request. But I remember that's what we used to ask.
Mhm.
And with going to the remote format, I think that was dropped. Yes,
I-
Ms. Colros.
I think
I
that,
give you permission to speak.
okay. I think it was Megan calling you Mike, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask after hours
Yes,
if I need to address you as Mr. Garland from now on. If not, I would like for you to address me as Dr. Langley if we need to go on the.
I believe I have addressed you as Dr. Langley in the past, but I'm sorry. I thought it was, I thought it was someone else calling me by my first name, so I apologize.
I have a question to the chair.
We're all good.
Okay, so Mr. Fallon has a chair for you, question for you, Dr. Langley.
Dr. Langley,
Please proceed.
I need to know the name of that Latin name for the tree that they got wrong, because I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
And you have to spell it, so. Just kidding.
Liriodendron tulipifera is the tulip tree.
Uh-huh.
And then liquid ambar sterassiflua is the sweet gum.
You rock,
Awesome.
dude.
You rock. I concur.
Okay.
All
I
right.
think that's it. One of the only things I'm good for is knowing
You
names
can
of
always
things.
call me Mike, that's fine. All right, are we done now?
We're done now.
Can we adjourn?
Yes.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote. All right, everyone, thank you very much. Thank you for your attendance.
There you go.
I hope to see most of you on Saturday at 9 o'clock on Vinyl Street.
This conference is no longer being recorded.